He's from Portland, Oregon.
Oh, good for him. So how are you judged? You're judged on...
I guess just style and
costume and
the whole air guitar, rock on.
Hey, it's the solution to world peace, as we said.
And climate change.
And climate change.
All things bad would disappear.
And it's fun.
We all played air guitar. With that, we'll say good evening. Have yourselves a good night. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Breaking at this hour, a 17-year-old Pittsburgh. Police say they need the public's help in determining why he was killed. We'll have the latest, plus who the victim was.
And a dangerous intersection in Iowa County lives up to its reputation. 4 crashes in 1 hour. Amanda Quintana explains what's happening.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with News 3 Now. Fitchburg police say the city's first homicide of the year is not a random act.
But they are not answering many other questions about the investigation, the victim, or the circumstances. News 3 Now has confirmed through a family member the victim is Shay Watson. He was a Verona High School student. We'll have more details on him to come. But first, our Rose Schmidt is live from Lyman Lane in Fitchburg with more on the investigation. And she is where police say Watson was found. Rose?
Yes, police still have this home blocked off and tell us investigators will likely be on scene into this evening. Now, at this time, police are not telling us the victim's identity or any possible motive, but they are telling us right now that no arrests have been made in this case. Officers were first called to the 2700 block of Lyman Lane just after 9 o'clock last night after finding a body at a home, after someone called 911 finding a body at a home in a house here. While police have not made any arrests, they say they know a number of people have information that could help them in this investigation. They're looking to provide additional patrols in the Tower Hill neighborhood, but say they don't believe there is an immediate danger to the public.
It does not appear that this was a random act. That's why I do not believe that there is an immediate threat. There is no information driving an immediate threat out there. But again, clearly, if there is somebody responsible for a homicide in our community or our area that has not been taken into custody, people should remain vigilant.
The principal of Verona High School sent a letter home to families today telling them that a student died last night and the district's deepest sympathies go to the family. They said they notified the school community so parents could monitor their child's well-being after this terrible event. Now, police tell us that an extensive autopsy finished today, but when I asked them when we will see details from that autopsy, they said they could not tell me. And Fitchburg police say that they're asking anyone with information or surveillance video from this neighborhood to give them a call. And again, police are not indicating why this might have happened or who the killer might be. They say that the public should not be in danger, but they haven't told us at this time why they believe that. Back to you.
Rose Schmidt live in Fitchburg. Rose, thank you. While a family member can confirm Watson's identity, they do not want to speak tonight.
Well, we are learning more about who Watson was. Madeline O'Neill joins us now with what we know. Maddie.
Well, Shay Watson was a Verona High School student, but had gone to West High before that. Watson's death was spoken about at a Madison Metropolitan back-to-school event for teachers today. According to an MMSD staff member, he played flag football with her son and for West High School. He also played football at Verona High School last year, but wasn't listed on this year's roster. At today's MMSD event, Nichelle Nichols spoke about his death's impact.
This is real, y'all. We have kids right now that will not be in school until next week. They're hurting. They're on social media. People are numb. So, like, I needed to speak his name, Shay Watson, because we have kids that are impacted by stuff every day.
Verona High School is letting families know that a student died last night, but haven't confirmed it was Watson. The Dane County Medical Examiner has not officially identified the victim, but police said an autopsy was completed this morning. We're working to learn more about Watson's life, and we'll share that with you as it develops.
Maddie O'Neill reporting at Maddie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Maddie. To weather now, let's get a check on the forecast with Gary Canalti on the weather patio. Gary?
Susan, it's been a pretty gloomy day today across southern Wisconsin. Let's go ahead and take a look at visible cloud track. You can see skies have been mostly cloudy. There have been some showers, kind of like in a lull between showers that have moved off to the east, another line of showers out to the west. But right now, much of southern Wisconsin just getting some fog and some drizzle, if that. Temperatures right now, though, held down because of the cloud cover, mainly in the upper 60s to the middle 70s. Dew point temperatures are pretty high, mid 60s to the middle 70s. So we're seeing some areas of fog, visibility down to a half mile in Monroe and 2.5 miles in Madison. Otherwise, look for those showers to end, some areas of fog overnight, low temperature dropping to 62. Then tomorrow, skies should become sunny. It'll be breezy and not as cool with a high temperature of 75. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. An Iowa County intersection has seen dozens of crashes since construction started on US 151. Yesterday, there were 4 crashes in just 1 hour.
The sheriff's office says this is all because drivers are not taking the recommended detour. Our Amanda Quintana is here. She's been looking into the dangers of this intersection and joins us with more. Amanda?
Yes, Eric and Susan, we first told you about the crashes happening at the intersection of US 151 and County Highway YZ more than a month ago, but it's continued to get worse. The sheriff telling me in his 17 years as sheriff, he's never seen an intersection with this many accidents. Ever since construction started on the eastbound entrance to US 151 back in April, drivers have been using County Highway YZ as their new entrance. About a month ago, we told you about neighbors' concerns.
I've heard them. Ambulances coming, and we've had 5 of them since they made the detour.
Now, Iowa County Sheriff Steve Mitchick says there's been about 25, 4 of them happening in just an hour Sunday afternoon, starting with drivers waiting in the middle of the median.
That's what gets us in trouble more often than anything, is that it's stopped traffic that's trying to commingle with high-speed traffic, meaning somebody that's doing 65, possibly 70 miles an hour.
DOT says they've considered making it a right turn only or adding a stop sign to 151, but decided those options would increase safety risk. Mitchick says apps like Google Maps are partly to blame, sending many drivers this direction.
It doesn't show the detour. It shows you the fastest route to Madison.
He wants that changed. Drivers are supposed to take Wisconsin 23 through downtown Dodgeville. It loops you around to get back onto US 151 East. Instead, maps are telling them to go through County YC, and he worries that accidents there won't stop.
We've been extremely lucky that no one's been severely injured or killed. However, that's unfortunately only a matter of time, I'm afraid.
About a month ago, DOT told us the 151 on-ramp construction was scheduled to end in September, but with all this rain, the sheriff believes that's probably being pushed back to November. And he says until that construction ends, people will continue taking YZ as a shortcut, and crashes there are just bound to happen.
We'll continue to follow it. Thanks, Amanda.
The Russian government is denying a visa for United States Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin to make an official visit. Senator Johnson is the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee's subcommittee on Europe and regional security cooperation. He said today in a release that he wanted to visit Russia as part of a congressional delegation. He also said in his release that he has supported legislation that aims to hold Russia accountable for aggression in Ukraine and also for targeting dissidents. Surprise political announcement from a northern Wisconsin congressman. Republican Sean Duffy says he will step down from his job next month. He has held that position since 2011 when he replaced longtime former Representative Democrat Dave Obey. Congressman Duffy says he and his wife Rachel are expecting a child in late October who has some complications, including a heart condition. His last day in office will be September 23rd. Ongoing controversy with Edgewood High School back on tonight as members of the City Plan Commission meet to discuss the future of the school's master plan. Amy Reed is following this for us today.
And she joins us now live to tell us what we might see tonight. Amy?
Tonight, the Plan Commission is talking about an ordinance that would allow Edgewood to throw out its master plan. This is the same ordinance that last week Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway said that she was no longer going to sponsor after Edgewood filed a federal lawsuit against the city. The master plan started about 5 years ago after Edgewood got rezoned in city code. This was an optional step the school took. And this is what neighbors in the city have pointed to as to why the school can't use its field for games, since the school wrote it in its master plan that it wouldn't. By getting rid of the master plan, the school can go through standard city procedure for updates to its campus, like if it wanted to build a football stadium. While the city wrote emails to Edgewood's attorneys that it backed the ordinance to avoid the lawsuit, still, even though the lawsuit has been filed, the city attorney wrote a memo to the Plan Commission saying that it's still in the city's best interest to pass this ordinance tonight, which would remove the master plan and send that on to full council.
Amy Reed reporting live. Amy, thank you. The school year kicks off today for Madison teachers and staff after a welcome back event that discussed the district's academic goals, including those that encourage racial equality. This year, the district set a goal to ensure all African American children and youth, including those who are multiracial and multi-ethnic, excel in school. Speakers say it's important to encourage Black excellence in the classroom. And guest speaker Dr. Bettina Love says people of color need to demand that they matter.
I want my students to be able to bring their whole selves to school each day. I want them to be able to be pushed, and I want them to come home and feel like they were embraced and their excellence was able to shine at school.
With theory and accountability, Dr. Love says she believes the district will make progress toward its goal. News 3 Now this morning is helping your family get ready to go back to school all month long. Tomorrow, Josh and Leah will be talking about how a change in school start times in Madison could affect your children.
An Oklahoma judge has found Johnson & Johnson and its subsidiaries helped fuel the state's opioid drug crisis and ordered the consumer products giant to pay $572 million to address the problem. Cleveland County Judge Thad Balkman issued that decision in the nation's first state trial against the companies accused of contributing to the widespread use of the highly addictive painkillers.
Johnson & Johnson will finally be held accountable for thousands of deaths and addiction caused by their activities. The company used pseudoscience and misleading information that downplayed the risks of opioids, leading to the worst man-made public nuisance our state and this country has ever seen. The death toll from unintentional prescription drug-related overdoses mounted, leaving in its wake broken homes, families, and communities.
And the company is expected to appeal. Still ahead at 5, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg receives an honorary degree just days after it was revealed she'd undergone 3 weeks of radiation for pancreatic cancer.
And then coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 6, how a task force is working to make the Sun Prairie School District a safe haven from bullying. President Trump says China is ready to make a trade deal with the United States.
He made those comments as he left the G7 summit in France.
I think they want to make a deal. I'm not sure they have a choice, and I don't say that as a threat.
At a joint news conference, French President Emmanuel Macron said there were lengthy discussions about the trade dispute, which has created uncertainty in the global markets. The president also said he would be willing to meet with Iran's president to resolve the ongoing nuclear standoff. President Trump says the conditions for a new agreement are simple.
We're looking for no nuclear weapons, no ballistic missiles, and a longer period of time.
And President Trump says he's hopeful progress can be made, but if the Iranians aren't good players, they'll, quote, be met with really violent force. He also said he's considering hosting next year's G7 summit at his golf course in Doral, Florida. Investors welcome news that trade talks with China could be back on the table. The Dow ending today up almost 270 points, while the NASDAQ added 102.
Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg made her first public appearance since her doctors announced she'd recently undergone successful treatment for a cancerous tumor. Natalie Brand has more from the Supreme Court.
I now confer upon Ruth Bader Ginsburg the degree of Doctor of Laws.
Supreme Court Associate Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's lighthearted remarks drew laughter at the University at Buffalo Monday, where she received an honorary law degree.
It was beyond my wildest imagination that I would one day become the notorious RBG.
The 86-year-old's appearance came just days after her doctors announced she had successfully undergone 3 weeks of radiation therapy for pancreatic cancer. Her doctors say no further treatment is needed at this time, but it is the latest in a series of health issues for Ginsburg, who had cancerous growth removed from her lung last December. Ginsburg barely mentioned her health, but she did emphasize the importance of the rule of law.
Law doesn't exist somewhere in the sky. It exists to govern society.
Ginsburg is one of 4 liberal-leaning justices on the 9-member court. Her latest health news had some Democrats expressing concern about the prospect of President Trump appointing another likely conservative Supreme Court justice.
She's pulled through a lot. She's strong, very tough.
Students who attended the event commented on her iconic status in law and American culture.
Most of her cases were gender equality cases. She is definitely a pop culture icon.
President Bill Clinton appointed Ginsburg to the High Court in 1993. She took the oath 26 years ago this month. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
Justice Ginsburg will take audience questions at a music hall in Buffalo, New York later this evening. Let's get a check on the weather now. Gary Canalti is here. Gary?
Well, things are pretty gloomy out there, Susan, but not a lot of rain, at least over much of southern Wisconsin right now. The thicker clouds have shifted off into eastern Wisconsin, out over Lake Michigan. There's another batch of thicker clouds coming in from the west with some showers, but notice how the skies clear out behind that. That's what we're looking forward to for tomorrow for some sunshine. So the first batch of showers is headed off to the east. There's a break here. Then here's the second line of showers. Very little in the way of lightning anywhere near that. Most of the lightning is actually behind that line of showers back across parts of central Minnesota. And those showers and thunderstorms will probably fall apart long before they reach us. So right now, we're kind of in a lull between the showers to the east and the next batch of showers to the west. But if we take a look at precipitation over the last 48 hours, you can see very little rain has fallen over our western viewing area, just some light showers yesterday. Most of the showers in the neighborhood of up to a quarter to a half inch in some spots over the rest of our viewing area. And then farther out to the east, some heavier showers in spots. But you can see the live view from the WISC Skycam. That's fog. I mean, you can just barely make out the ground below there. Here's the live view from the Edgewater Skycam. Not as much fog downtown, but still pretty gloomy out there. The almanac for today shows the clouds have held our high temperature down to 68 degrees, the low temperature is 63. So all that moisture in the air, the temperature doesn't move very much. Right now our temperature is 68 with a light rain shower at the airport. Winds are out of the north at 5 miles per hour. Humidity is at 93%. We're seeing some areas of fog. In the Caribbean, we have Tropical Storm Dorian with top winds of about 60 miles per hour. Latest forecast path from the National Hurricane Center strengthens it to near hurricane force as it passes south of Puerto Rico, probably as a Category 1 hurricane. Then depending on how much interaction it has with the Dominican Republic and then over the Bahamas, that will remain to be seen how strong the winds are, but it may weaken a little bit as it heads perhaps toward southern Florida by Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening. Closer to home, temperatures are in the 60s through much of Wisconsin. Farther out to the west where there's some sunshine, temperatures jump up into the 70s. Dew point temperatures are pretty high here, although the air does start drying out a little bit farther to the west, and some brisk winds will bring that drier air closer to the ground for the next couple of days, and that should limit the rain chances once we get past this band of showers. Farther out to the south and west, some stronger thunderstorms moving through parts of Missouri, and then farther to the south, more heat across Texas. But right now, things are pretty quiet across our part of the Midwest. Temperatures mainly in the 60s and 70s. So our forecast for tonight calls for cloudy skies, some areas of fog. Showers will gradually come to an end, low temperature dropping to 62. Then for tomorrow, look for skies to become mostly sunny. It'll be breezy, high temperature topping out at 75, so not as cool as today, and that's just because we'll have more sunshine. On future track, you can see the last of the showers moving out late tonight. Low temperatures dropping into the 60s. Highs tomorrow in the 70s, and then we're back to the lower 70s on Wednesday as the next batch of clouds moves through with a weak cold front. Otherwise, as we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, temperatures jump back up on Thursday, go down on Friday. The holiday weekend still looking pretty good. Maybe an early shower on Saturday, but the rest of the time through Labor Day should be dry. Some thunderstorm chances toward the middle of next week. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, there's the view on the Beltline at Seminole Highway. Traffic moving pretty steadily in both directions there. Most of the delays eastbound are between, looks like around West Broadway back to Fish Hatchery Road. Westbound, we're seeing some delays between Fish Hatchery Road and John Nolan Drive. As far as travel times are concerned, right now, 23 minutes on the eastbound Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate, 20 minutes back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, 27 minutes to Janesville on I-3990 from the Beltline, 17 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 20 minutes to Sun Prairie on US 151 and East Washington Avenue. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Thank you, Gary.
Removing liquids and laptops from your bag could soon be a thing of the past at airports.
CBS's Cindy Palm reports it could be coming soon to airports in London. We'll explain when we come back.
Removing liquids and laptops from your bag could soon be a thing of the past at airports.
CBS's Cindy Palm reports it could be coming to airports across Britain and some in the U.S.
All major airports in the UK will soon be required to install new 3D technology meant to speed up security checks.
It means for the passenger, no more taking your laptop out, no more taking your phone out, no more having to take liquids and separate all those things.
The new scanners work like a CT machine in a hospital, allowing screeners to zoom in and rotate a carry-on bag for a 360-degree view. More than a dozen major airports in the U.S. are already using the technology, including LAX, New York's JFK, and Chicago's O'Hare. London's Heathrow Airport is the first in the UK to test out the equipment.
Wow, super excellent.
I think anything that speeds up the check-in process has to be good.
The technology isn't just being installed to save travelers time. Airport authorities say it's also a way to improve security.
We will be able to detect things that we can't currently detect, and we can anticipate some of the threats that might be coming at us from threats such as ISIS and Al-Qaeda.
Aviation experts say the machines create such a clear picture of what's inside a bag, security staff can easily detect explosives. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has ordered all major airports in the UK to install the new scanners by the end of 2022. Cindy Palm, CBS News, London.
The TSA plans to install the 3D scanners in other airports across the U.S. in the coming years.
Let's stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment.
People
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, a judge finds Johnson & Johnson guilty of fueling an opioid crisis and orders the company to pay $572 million. How similar cases nationwide could be affected. We're tracking Tropical Storm Dorian as it barrels towards the Caribbean. Will it hit Puerto Rico as a hurricane? And veterans in crisis get a lifeline. Tonight on the CBS Evening News.
So what do world leaders do during their downtime at big summit meetings?
Well, for Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, it means a little jog. Cameras caught him jogging uphill at the G7 summit venue in the French coastal resort of Biarritz. As the meeting wrapped up this morning, it's not the first time a world leader has been caught outpacing his bodyguards. On Sunday, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson had plunged into the Bay of Biscay near the summit site, flanked by French soldiers, and with Britain's ambassador to France, Ed Llewellyn, in tow.
Got to stay in shape, right? Traveling the world, they got better weather there than we've got here. It's been a gloomy start to the week.
Yeah, one gloomy day, it's not a big deal. It's better to have it on Monday and have the holiday weekend dry, and that's the way it looks, or at least most of it. You can see we're kind of in between batches of showers. The next batch farther out toward the north and west probably will be the last of the rain. Temperatures right now are in the upper 60s, but with dew point temperatures in the mid 60s. We're seeing some areas of fog where the winds are light, and that's right about over Madison.
All right, we're back in 30 minutes with News 3 now at 6. Stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.